All right, Samori Benjamin here with Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Dillon Tate. Dillon, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the time.
Yeah, man, definitely. I know that not a lot of black pitchers in Major League Baseball. I'm a big baseball fan, and over the years, not a whole lot. So you're one of the few in Major League Baseball. So congratulations to your success, man. It's tremendous. I know you're from California, so just how did you get into baseball coming up?
My dad was the one that got me into baseball coming up. So it was a simple question he asked me. He asked me if I wanted to play, and I actually told him no. And he said, if you don't like it, you don't have to play anymore, and the rest is history.
And so you grew up in like the LA area, right?
LA County, but
LA?
Away from LA.
Okay. So I guess when you tried it the first time, do you remember your first time trying baseball, like going out for a little league team?
Yeah, I was 8 years old, and I remember I had a practice coming up on a weekday of some sort, and I remember having my glove, and I was throwing a tennis ball against the wall trying to practice before the practice.
Yeah, man, that's cool. And I remember growing up and playing by myself, because some people say, oh, you need to have a lot of people to play baseball, but I remember playing by myself with a tennis ball, throwing against the wall and playing tennis by myself, did you have any baseball inspirations growing up as a kid?
My mom was surrounded by baseball when she was growing up. Her dad was big into baseball. He coached Darryl Strawberry growing up, so baseball was always around, and I think it was only a matter of time before I got introduced to it.
Nice. So were you a fan of football or basketball growing up?
I definitely watched football and basketball growing up. I would say more basketball than football.
Okay, so were you a Laker fan?
Definitely.
Okay, so Kobe Bryant, Shaq, that was your childhood.
Robert Horry, don't forget him too. Derek Fisher, yeah, that's who I grew up watching.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. So, just real quick, do you have some maybe a couple of favorite memories of the Lakers growing up?
Definitely when Robert Horry hit that three against the Sacramento Kings. That was crazy. And Derek Fisher's .4 second shot for the buzzer beater. So those were some memories that I had growing up, just watching some greatness.
So do you still allow yourself to be a Lakers fan now?
I would say by association, yeah. I move around a lot, so there's other basketball teams that I'll go play, but Lakers fan at heart, though.
No doubt, man, no doubt. Okay, so you got to be a fan of the King. Also, were you a Dodgers fan?
I was actually a Red Sox fan growing up, and it was just really strictly because of Pedro, and then I started watching other members of the team, like Euclid was a funky stance, but the way that team played was just gritty, and I liked it.
Red Sox, Pedro Martinez, he was the man. Like Pedro was the best pitcher I've ever seen at his best I've ever seen, and of course he had battles against the Yankees. So do you remember 2003 and 2004 definitely they played in the LCS. Do you have any memories about just watching Yankee Red Sox as a kid?
I want to say the Yanks. I want to say they had a walk-off home run here to right field. I want to say for the ALCS championship one year.
Well, that actually was the Yankee manager Aaron Boone hit a walk-off to left field.
To left.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. At the old stadium. Yeah. That was Aaron Boone.
Okay.
Yeah. 2003. Yeah. Awesome, man. Okay, so you know what? And I saw that you were part of the MLB Compton Youth Academy.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay, it's interesting because right when I first started covering Major League Baseball, I was always interested in the decline of Afro-Americans in baseball, and so the MLB Academy was just starting. That was the first one they started. When I first started covering baseball, they were talking about it hadn't even opened yet, and so I remember doing stories about it opening and MLB's efforts to try and get more Afro-American kids playing baseball. And so I saw that you were a part of it. So how did you get into it, and how was that experience for you?
So it was my mom's brother that actually ended up introducing me to Carl Nichols, former MLB catcher. He was a coach at the Urban Youth Academy at the time, and he ended up arranging just a bullpen, really. And so went down there to throw a bullpen, and after the bullpen, they offered me a spot to go play on a team that they were sending down to Japan for a friendship series.
Wow.
So that was a place that always showed me love, and it was a place where I could hone my craft around people that had been there before, and I'm incredibly thankful for that opportunity.
Yeah, about how old were you at that time?
I was 14.
14, wow, so you got a chance to go to Japan to play baseball. So that must have been an incredible feeling to be at that age and be going to Japan in front of all-star teams. So what was that like?
Definitely something I'll never forget. It was a beautiful country, beautiful people. It was incredibly clean. It was just an incredible experience to get to play some of the best players in Japan at that time. So, I hope that I can go back at some point.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so now, how do you think that being a part of the Youth Academy in Compton helped develop your skills as a player?
Really, it was just another place where I could get repetitions. And baseball is one of those games where you can't take time off, and you need to be consistently getting reps. And they were the place that allowed me to do that. So I was showing up as much as I could. I was showing up a couple times a week, sometimes on Wednesdays, sometimes on Saturdays, and they always had something for me to do.
That's great. And so, of course, everybody, when they come up, they're playing more than one position. So I'm sure you probably played the infield, outfield, and pitcher growing up. So at what point were you like strictly a pitcher?
It was a year after I had spent time at the Urban Youth Academy. My coaches were really urging me to stick to one position once I turned 15. And they said, I have a shot at making it on the bump, but not so much with a bat in my hand. And I'm glad I listened to them.
Okay. And so now in high school, you start pitching. So what do you remember about just your experience being a pitcher in high school?
When I first got to high school, I wasn't getting a lot of reps. So that's why I ended up going over to the Urban Youth Academy. And it wasn't until my sophomore year and beyond, that's when I started pitching more regularly at high school.
Okay, and so there's a lot of talent in Southern California, in that area, lots of talent, a lot of guys in the big league. So, who are some of the guys, first of all, who are here now that you remember facing in high school, and how was that competition?
Well, I didn't face these players, but I played with them. Okay. So I played with Dominic Smith, J.P. Crawford.
Wow.
I played with Max Fried and Lucas Giolito. I played with Rio Ruiz. Daniel Robertson.
Okay.
So, these were guys that I just had the pleasure of playing with and sharing the same field. And they also went on to have major league careers.
Okay, and so you went to college. What school were you at again?
I went from Claremont High to UC Santa Barbara.
Okay, all right, UC Santa Barbara. And you pitched in college, started off as a closer, right?
Yes.
Okay. You closed for a long period of time, and then you started to become a starting pitcher, right?
Yes, and that happened sophomore year I closed, junior year I started.
Right, so as a sophomore, I guess first, how was your freshman year, your first year of college? Did you get a chance to pitch much?
Freshman year was kind of a transition period for me. Didn't really pitch a ton, I think 3 innings.
Okay.
And then the next year got a little bit more acclimated with the speed of college baseball and was ready to play.
So now you became the closer, so how did you end up becoming the closer and being in that high pressure position? And you did very well, so how was that?
I think it started with throwing another pitch, an off-speed pitch over the plate, and then from there it just kind of blossomed. It was, okay, you got these 2 pitches, they're both pretty good, and throw them over the plate, see what happens, and it was going in my favor.
Yeah, and then you so how did you the next year become a starting pitcher? So why did they make that decision, and how was that for you?
So someone rolled their ankle days before we were getting ready to have our first game, and we didn't have a starter, and I volunteered for the job, and it went well, and we just kept rolling with it from there.
Yeah, and so what conference were you all in?
The Big West.
The Big West. So what was the Big West like pitching in that conference and playing against those schools?
Big West is going to be more small ball type of baseball, and Fullerton had a solid club, Long Beach had a solid club, Irvine, Cal Poly, just to name a few. And but really, any of those teams in that conference, UC Davis, Northridge, it's baseball, so you can get got on any given day. So just gritty baseball.
Yeah, and so you had to do very well, because I know the draft came, and then you ended up getting picked number 4 overall in the draft, but that was 2015?
Yes.
Okay, 2015, you get picked 4th overall in the draft, and so that must have been incredible. I mean, were you surprised that you got picked that high, and what was it like to be picked at that point?
I would say the only reason I wasn't surprised is because I got a phone call prior to saying that we're going to pick you at this slot.
Yeah.
But it was really just a blessing, man. And I'm thankful that I had that start, because I was the type of player in my minor league career where I needed all of those opportunities. And quite honestly, I played with a lot of guys that were better than me, and they didn't have as many opportunities. And so that was I feel like that was the main reason why I'm sitting in this seat right now, is because of all of the chances that I had. And I'm just incredibly thankful.
Yeah, that's real right there, definitely, man. And so you were drafted by Texas, right?
Correct.
And then you were traded in the minor leagues for the Yankee organization.
Correct.
And they traded Carlos Beltran, and then so you were part of that. I mean, so the minor leagues is a grind. All of you all have to do it. The one thing, out of all the other sports, you all have to deal with the minor leagues first before you can get to the big league team. It's not easy. Not easy. A lot of guys don't make it up, don't make it through. So, how would you sum up your whole minor league experience?
That's tough to say right now, just thinking about it off the top of my head. But
or you know what? First, how was it for you when you first got there with the Texas Rangers organization?
It was definitely an adjustment. It's a different type of setting. Even in college is a little bit more rah with everything, and pro ball is not like that. So you learn that pretty quickly. You learn about professionalism pretty quickly. There's certain things that you do in college that you just do not do in the pros. And I had a good group of people that showed me the ropes and said, this is okay, we don't do this. And so I was still surrounded by a lot of good people in that Rangers organization. And then once I transitioned over to the Yankees, it was all about winning. It was all about winning over there, is what I remember. And I think that's something that definitely resonated with me. And it's not so much about how you feel sometimes, as you got to go out there and look, just help us win. I don't care how you do it. And then I went over to Baltimore, and different kind of situation over there. With how they did things, they were not as analytical at the time, and then it transitioned to a more analytical team. And I was thankful to come over here, and now I'm here, and another opportunity.
You made your major league debut in 2019 with Baltimore, and that was a Baltimore team that they were struggling at the time, and then they ended up making their rise. But what was it like, Joe, just being able to finally, 4 years into it, make your major league debut?
So again, similar situation to like when I was in the minors. I had a lot of opportunity over with Baltimore, and that was something that definitely shaped my entire career, being that I was there longer than any other team, and I will always be thankful for the opportunity that I got over there. And then once I transitioned over here, it was, I'm thankful to have a job. I could be at the house not doing anything, but another team decided to take a chance on me, and I'm in a position now where I am just trying to do whatever it is that I need to do to help this club in whatever way, shape, or form. and whatever opportunities they throw at me, whether it's, it could be some breadcrumbs. I mean, I'm gonna take them and do whatever I can with them to make it work.
No doubt, man. Got about 3 more for you. So you are, I believe, the only African American player on this Toronto Blue Jays team right now. And since I've been covering baseball, like in the late 2000s, only been about 8% of the ball players were Afro-American. But just do you think that more Afro-American kids at some point will get more interested into the game? And what's it like being able to be the only Afro-American player on the team?
So I'll answer the first question. I do hope that more African-American kids will get into the game of baseball. And it's tough just because the sport is so expensive. There's a lot of different pieces of equipment that you need to have going for you in order to play, and then other people on top of that. So I hope that's something that continues to happen, where more kids get into the game. And then number 2, really, I understand that I'm in a position where I'm here to be a role model. So, sometimes certain places that you go, you can lose sight of that just because you're in a position where you're either trying to stay afloat or you're trying to put together the best body of work that you can if you are one of the guys, core members of that team. So you can get caught up in trying to, I guess, be the best version of yourself or put the best product out on the field. So you're not really thinking about the impact that you have on other kids while they're out there, maybe asking for a ball, and you've heard that maybe 10,000 times throughout the whole season, and you're not trying to hear it for that day. But I'm just happy that I'm in a position where I can be a role model, and someone can say, man, I can go do that too. If he's doing it, I can go do it. And because that's how I used to look at it when I was younger. I would look at somebody throwing and I would say, oh man, this guy's only throwing 88. Man, I can get out there and go do that same thing. So, and now I'm that kind of guy where kids can look up to and say, man, this guy's doing it, and he's doing it at that speed. Man, I can do it too. And so I think that's why I'm here, and I'm happy that I can be that individual.
Definitely. And definitely no doubt about it. I mean, there's kids in Toronto who, I'm sure, black kids come in the game, they see you, they're inspired. They turn on TV and see you, they're inspired. Or who will come out here tonight from Harlem, the Bronx,
that's right,
and see you out here on the mound, and they'll be inspired, wow, and they'll want to get out there and do it too, So definitely, man, props to you. That's a great thing, and I enjoy watching you play and pitch. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's not a lot of black pitchers out there in MLB. And about a week ago was Jackie Robinson Day. Were you part of the roster on Jackie Robinson Day?
No, I was not.
Okay. And you have been in the past on Baltimore. What was it like being a part of Jackie Robinson Day?
Man, I was wearing that 42 and walking around like I was 6'9", and just feeling like larger than life, but larger than life because I was representing something that was a whole lot bigger than me, but a legacy of players that didn't get the opportunity, and then for the legacy of guys after that got to wear the uniform and be a role model. So like I said, man, I was walking around feeling larger than life every time I got to wear that jersey.
That's great. Okay, last 3, I appreciate your time, man, I really do. When you first got to the big leagues, and what was it like? So you watched these guys your whole life, a lot of these guys growing up, you were fans of some of them growing up, and then now you're pitching to, was there one guy who you were like, wow, I can't believe that I'm facing him right now on the mound?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I think the way that I kind of looked at it was, number one is I'm sharing the same field with 9-figure players, and I may not be a 9-figure player, but I'm standing right on the opposite side of you, ready to go toe to toe and do whatever that they're trying to do. So
no doubt.
And I still feel that way to this day, regardless of what kind of stuff I bring to the table or how I'm feeling for that particular day. I'll go toe to toe with whoever's in front of me, your best guy, and I'm going to put my best foot forward and try to take it there.
Has there been maybe one hitter who sticks out over your career that has been the toughest in your mind?
I'm gonna have to say Wander Franco, Joey Wendell, just guys that are pesky at the plate can, they can mess things up sometimes. But all in all, though, I'm playing ball, so good day, bad day. There aren't any really bad days in the big leagues, is what people say. So, and I've learned that as I've gotten older. So, regardless of who it is, good, bad, indifferent, like I'm thankful to be there.
Is there what's it like getting to play in Yankee Stadium?
Hostile. Yeah, it's hostile here, but I also think that helps bring the best out of you, and it makes it so that you are going to put your best foot forward because you don't really have a choice. Like, you don't want to get pushed around, so you're going to do some pushing back if someone wants to push you. So that's always how I felt coming to this stadium.
No doubt about it. Yankee fans, don't mess with them, all right? And last one for you. Who's the most talented teammate that you've ever played with?
The most talented teammate that I've ever played with. It's probably going to be on this club. I'm going to say Vlad. I've had a lot of run-ins with Vlad over the years, just being with the Orioles, and man, 2019 was rough. Like, he came out swinging it in 2019, and just from 2019 to 2024, it's never been an easy out, and you just can't take pitches off because you could be in a bad spot really quick.
Awesome. All right, folks. 2015, number 4 pick overall in the MLB Draft. Now Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Dillon Tate. Dillon, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Great meeting you. Great talking to you.
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. All right, folks, we're back.